show your face. Show your face, please, with sugar on top.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all know my slogan. I don't know it all, but I know what I've been through. Now, before we get into this video, make sure you check us out on Patreon at www.patreon.com/Hookah Anonymous _. You guys been telling us to create one for the longest, so we recently created a community where we will upload videos that we can't share on YouTube due to their guidelines. We'll also be dropping the latest to there first, behind the scenes information that you wouldn't find anywhere else on our socials. So make sure you become a member, and after you do that, head over to our official Instagram page at Hookah Anonymous _ and follow us there. Now without further ado, let's get into what you guys came here to see. Now, a wise man once told me, some people get it with a brick and some people get it with a feather. But moral of the story is, whichever way you get it, at the end of the day, you're going to get it somehow, some way. We may not understand why some people do the things that they do, but when it comes to consequences, some people only need to go through something once for them to realize that it's not for them. Others, it may take them a little longer, as well as a harsher punishment before they actually learn their lesson. We've seen time after time, guys go to jail and then come out and go right back in as if the time they just spent away wasn't enough. Some of them even go back just months apart from being released as well. We've seen this happen with 051 Kiddo, Tay Savage, and now another individual by the name of 007 Nate. Nate isn't a rap or anything, however he became known in the Chicago drill culture after he's been accused of allegedly taking the life of another well-known individual, a part of the drill culture by the name of 051 Melly. It's been said that Melly was at a party when shots would ring off, and Melly being the person who was fatally shot after the crowd cleared and everyone got to see what was going on. Although many have pointed the fingers at Nate for having something to do with the shooting, Nate was never charged for it, and to this day the case has gone unsolved. We did a video covering 051 Melly and the night he lost his life in another video, in which I'll leave a link pinned in the comments below for you guys to check out there. We also did a video on 007 Nate covering his charges and why he ended up going to jail, which I'll leave a link pinned in the comments as well for you guys to check out there. Recently, Nate was released from prison, and with all the talk of him having involvement in Melly's passing, most people was wondering if he was going to be able to survive due to possible retaliation for people believing that Nate was the suspect in Melly's passing. When most of us figured he'll probably start doing interviews and talking about the situation, I guess we didn't see this one coming, where Nate landed himself right back in jail for being accused of not only possessing a firearm, but discharging it as well, while currently being on parole. There's no telling what the punishment will be, being that he's already a convicted felon with similar prior charges and being on parole, but we can only imagine at this time they may not be too lenient on him due to it seeming like he still haven't learned his lesson. So we're going to get into all that, but before we do, make sure y'all hit that thumbs up button so we can get this video into the algorithm, and if you're not subscribed to the platform already, make sure you do so now. Let's get into it. Nathan Hicks, aka 007 Nate, has been used as an example in the latest use of shot spotters in Chicago, which were used to capture him along with another male on parole and 2 other migrants. To show just how effective the shot spotter detection system has been, CWB Chicago stated that 3 men were arrested in less than 1 hour in different parts of the city as a result of the shot spotter detector system. Within the same week, the system led to the arrest of at least 7 people for illegal gun possession as well. In a contract battle between the parent company of the detection system and the city of Chicago, the Shot Spot company threatened to dismantle the detection network if the mayor don't make a last-minute reversal over an agreement for the detection system that's supposed to run through 2025. Back in February, Mayor Brandon Johnson was advocating to get rid of the Shot Spotter detection system, saying that it's becoming costly for the city and concerns of it really being effective or not. Johnson stated that the company did not live up to his word, which was the detection system would reduce gun violence in the city, so I'm assuming that the mayor feels that spending money on something that isn't working is unnecessary if gun violence is still the same. On the other hand, I'm not sure how effective they are in Chicago, but I know in other areas, especially in New York, police often rely on them heavily in situations of shootings occurring in certain areas. However, if the mayor is not trying to keep them around, I wonder what's the other alternative for them trying to stop gun violence from happening in the city. Because if you're going to take away the shot spotters, you must have a backup plan or anything else that could help. The shot spotters actually sound like they are effective, but I think it's one of those situations where they feel too much money is being spent on them, and maybe they're trying to limit the amount of money that they're spending for the city, and that's why they're trying to take it away. The mayor said gun violence is still happening, but this is not something that could just be controlled overnight. You know, you have to have it in place for some time and allow it to run its course, and then you make a decision based on a couple years after, in which you see if you see results or not. However, with them wanting to take it away, it makes you wonder about the allegations of the city of Chicago and CPD not caring too much to protect its residents or doing bare minimum to keep the city safe. However, here's where 007 Nate will come in. Nate will be one of the unlucky individuals that will be the victim of the shot spotter detection system, which placed him at the scene of a shooting that occurred in the 5400 block of South Pulaski. According to CWB Chicago, they would detail how Nate was identified and taken into custody during the time he was arrested, and the article will read, quote, Nathaniel Hicks Johnson, a 30-year-old man on parole for aggravated discharge of a firearm toward an occupied vehicle, was arrested at 10:43 p.m. Monday after police responded to a shot spotter notification of 2 rounds fired in the 5400 block of South Pulaski. A Chicago police video surveillance officer pulled up a camera feed and informed responding officers that they saw a man wearing a black face mask and black military boots place a possible firearm in his waistband at the address provided by ShotSpotter. According to their report, officers found Hicks Johnson in the area and detained him because he matched the description. They allegedly found a loaded handgun in his waistband during a pat-down search. Hicks Johnson told the officers he found the gun and fired into the air because he was celebrating, the report said. Judge Dodre Dyer detained him on charges of reckless discharge of a firearm and Class X armed habitual criminal. The Illinois Department of Corrections also filed a parole violation warrant. So judging from what we're told here, it's possible that Nate will have to answer to not only the charges that he just got, but he'll also be violated on parole for having police contact 1, and 2, receiving a brand new charge. Sometimes they run these cases concurrent, or they'll make you serve out the time you have to do for the violation on parole and then serve the initial time for your charges. Don't know how much time he's facing, but he was already locked up for 4 years before being released on parole. With that time still over his head and new charges that are similar to his old ones, it's really no telling what's going to come out of this case. Now, it's also crazy how he was caught and what he ended up telling the officers. He allegedly told the officers that he found the gun and was shooting because he was celebrating. I mean, I guess at that point, he had nothing else to say because he was caught red-handed. And in the heat of the moment, I guess anybody is willing to say anything to avoid going back to jail. Now, there's no telling why he was shooting or who he was shooting at because the article didn't specify on why Nate was shooting. Due to the shot spotters, they was told that he put a firearm into his waistband when the shots was fired, and then he was found with the firearm afterwards. So I wonder what transpired that caused him to shoot. Was he trying to target someone, or was he just defending himself? I don't know, but if what he's saying is true and he was just shooting to celebrate, it'll be crazy to know you're going back to jail or because you shot randomly into the air because you was celebrating. It's almost as if maybe he did it purposely to get caught or something. I don't know. But speaking of that, an 051 member by the name of 051 Kimeon responded to Nate being arrested as he would repost a post to his Instagram story, and he would say, quote, "N-word so damn scary, they finding a way to go back to jail." Basically indicating that Nate purposely trying to go back to jail just to avoid any type of pressure in the streets for allegedly taking the life of 051 Melly. Now, most people are going to say Nate crashed out or Nate woulda, shoulda, coulda, did this and that, but sometimes these things are inevitable, especially due to the parole system in Chicago. As I say all the time, as long as these guys are being placed back into the same environment, the same cycle will continue to happen. These guys are being put right back into the same place that got them in jail in the first place, without being allowed to leave due to the parole guidelines, and people wonder why they're going right back. It's almost like a system set up for failure. Majority of these guys have ops, and they're placed in circumstances where they have to have a weapon on them because it's either you kill or be killed. Especially in Nate's case, where he's a wanted man, where he has to look over his shoulder constantly 24/7. So I don't know, y'all, but that's pretty much it, man. Nate is back in custody, and there's no telling how much time that he's facing. As more information come out, we'll update you guys, but until then, make sure you hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. Hit that bell so you're notified every time we drop new content. And remember, as long as you keep on watching, I'm going to keep on dropping. And I'm out.